Meet Bethany Hoff, a talented tattoo artist hailing all the way from Waterloo, Michigan, who currently brings her creative flair to the Garden State. From a young age, she has always displayed a natural love for art, spending countless hours sketching and drawing purely for the joy it brought her. Bethany is an artist who taps into her favorite media, specializing in tattoos that reference anime, cartoons, comic books, and even video games. Her passion for what she does flows out into her work. Using her art as a creative medium, she found solace and strength in tattooing and drawing, reminding her to be patient, reflect, and even practice her witchcraft, which is inspirational to her art. For Bethany, tattooing isn't just a career, it's a way of life, a fusion of art, creativity, and spirituality that continues to inspire and uplift her every day.
Welcome back to Garden State of the Arts. I'm your host, Joey Lancelotti, and today we have an amazing tattoo artist, Bethany Hoff. How you doing today?
Hi, doing good. It's great to be here. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much for coming in. So, what was your inspiration, or who was your inspiration when you got started in your career in tattooing?
Yeah. Originally when I started seeing these really cool, beautiful, like hyper kawaii anime tattoos by Laura Anuki on Instagram. She's definitely still one of my biggest inspirations, just the way she does like the sparkles and the glitter and the crystals, and she uses Pokemon and anime characters, and I was like, oh my God, that's everything that I want to do. But also, like, kind of myself. I hate to say that because, like, you got to give yourself a chance. If you want to immerse yourself into something creative, you got to be like, okay, I can do this.
Exactly. If you don't dive, you'll never reach the water,
Totally.
right? So, how long have you been tattooing professionally and unprofessionally?
Yeah, about 3.5 years, 3 years professionally, about half a year unprofessionally, although I was still like doing tattoos at that time because there's only one way to learn how to tattoo, and that's on real human skin.
I bet. I mean, I've never given a tattoo, and honestly, I'd never try.
Yeah,
so
that's okay. I'm not gonna make you.
Okay, thank you. So, what is your favorite tattoo, and why is it your favorite?
Yeah, I'd have to say it's Edgar Allan Poe. He's right on my thigh here. He's one of my muses for sure. Like, he's like totally a dude who I was just like, I read his poetry in high school and I was like, oh my God, that's me.
That is so
that's
cool.
Me.
That is
yeah.
so cool. So, what is your style or aesthetic that you like to use when tattooing?
So kind of like my idol Laura Anuki, I also really like the kawaii anime and cartoony tattoos. I specialize in color, vibrant color. I like it to be cute, a little cartoony, you know, like my mentor used to tease me. I'd draw like a real lion and he'd be like, yeah, why does it still look like it could talk? So
is there any other sort of aesthetics that you're trying to learn while you're working and picking things up?
I mean, I think it's best to be a well-rounded tattoo artist, especially somebody who like me, which I don't normally turn many things away besides like realism. I just don't do realism, but I do like, you know, new school tattoos, which is still like that kind of cartoony style, neo-traditional tattoos, which has just certain like thickness of lines and certain saturations of colors that I really admire. I'll do black and gray too, like give me anything and I'll do it. I'll do your mom's birth flower tattoos, I'll do your grandma's infinity symbol, I don't really care. You know, as long as it's something that they really want. I just like making people happy.
That is so cool.
Nice.
That is awesome. So we've actually gotten the chance to get some footage of you tattooing and doing that kind of stuff. Would you mind kind of showing us what you're doing and walk us along the process?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Right over here.
All right. So here I'm starting with some lines. Line work is pretty easy. I'll zip through that and I'll start with my darkest colors first. So there's me putting in those like the shading kind of colors. I always start with those because you don't want to muddy up your lighter colors with your darker ones. Blending, putting all those shadows in first. And it looks like I'm going to go in with probably a lighter color here now. Let's see. Yeah, blending in those lighter colors, yep.
That is so cool.
Trying to keep everything separate enough too to where it doesn't like blend together, you know, so it doesn't all look like the same shade. Because like tattooing is like different from drawing in that regard, to where like sometimes the colors, it's just like, oops, too similar, and it's like, but yeah, packing in those colors, it's kind of a slow process. Even though I consider myself pretty fast, like you still gotta make sure that your circles are just tight enough. You're basically rubbing the ink into the skin with needles. Isn't that great?
That sounds terrifying.
Yeah, I mean, it's like having your skin being scraped off, but it's fun, but it feels great.
Okay.
Trust me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll trust you.
Yeah, you'd love it. Packing, putting in like those lavender colors. Yup, and then the white highlights in the eyes and the pinks. Yup, and there's a little froggy.
That came out so cool.
Thanks.
That is so good.
Yeah, that's a good example of like my kind of cute style.
So what is the approach that you take when creating a custom design?
Definitely like gauging the person and like figuring out like what it is that they like, and also figuring out what kind of style that they like. Because sometimes like people will come to me because they're like, I love your color, I love your style. Sometimes they're just like, I don't care who tattoos me, like I just want a tattoo, man. And so at that point I'm like, okay, well, show me some references. So I always look at references just so that I can get a really good idea of what's in their head. I'll have a consultation with people, and I'll have my iPad, and like I'll even take pictures of them, and I'll find like references on the internet, and I'll layer it over their skin so I can kind of like show them like, hey, this is what it would look like. Because sometimes what they think it would look like isn't what it would look like in practice. So that at that point I have to kind of guide them a little bit, which is fine. Like, how are they gonna know, you know?
It's true.
So you're teaching people while also just like figuring out who they are and what they like.
I mean, honestly, you sound like the person I would want to get a tattoo if I ever, made that decision.
Thanks.
So, do you have any designs or tattoos that you are just the most proud of?
Yeah, recently I did a tattoo on my mom, so that was really special, and she got something really cool too. She got something in my style. It's this pink dragon, and it's like from here to here, like on her arm. And she's also a breast cancer survivor, so that's why it's pink. And she's like, I want it looking behind its shoulder, like that's behind me. So I'm like, okay, Mom. So it's like looking over its shoulder, and it's got sparkles around it, and it's got gray shading in the background. I love it.
And it sounds like it's a personal piece.
Totally, yeah.
So what would be the process that you would you yourself go through when preparing for a new piece?
When preparing for a new piece, besides like everything that like, I went over with like gauging somebody, if it's something that I'm like drawing for myself personally, like if I'm like, okay, I just want to draw for myself and put the flash art is what we call it, like out there, when it's something that I draw, and then it's like, okay, you can just pick it off the wall basically and get it done. Honestly, I'll watch cartoons and I'll like get inspired. Like I'll watch anime and be like, oh my God, that scene was so cool. How do I take that vibe and like put it into a drawing?
That is awesome.
Yeah.
I love that part.
Yeah, let the influences influence you is some of the best advice that I've ever gotten.
That is great advice for art in general.
In general, for sure.
So, what would you say is the most rewarding thing about being a tattoo artist?
Getting to see people happy, for one, like getting to like see them be like, oh my God, I love it so much. And also getting to see like an idea come to life, because it's totally one thing to like draw it, and like that in itself is very fulfilling, but to like bring it to life on somebody's body and then it's literally a walking piece of art, that's crazy.
You're 100% right. It is something that does bring people a lot of happiness.
Yeah.
And it really does lighten people's lives.
It does, yeah.
So now, in your experience, have you ever given out a tattoo that was a little bit, weird?
I get asked to do weird tattoos all the time. People want the darndest things, and I'm just like, okay, all right. But the one that comes to mind is this dude. He wanted a like naked outline of his wife, like doing kind of like one of these, like looking over her shoulder, and it was from his shoulder to his butt cheek, and I was like, okay, all right, let's do it. And he got that, and he was like, I want people to like hide their kids at the beach when they see it.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Art is art, right?
Art's art.
Yeah, I guess it's subjective. So Bethany, thank you so much for taking the time to come on down here.
Thank you so much. It was great being here.
Hey, and let me just tell you this real quick. You are an amazing artist.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Of course, of course. And thank you all for watching. This has been Garden State of the Arts. My name's Joey Lancelotti, and I will see you guys next week.